Welcome to Equip with Pastor Steve Hamner. Join us today as we are creating a world that Christ can live in. For more information, visit our website at wordoffaithtuscaloosa.com.
Hi, glad that you're able to join me today on this edition of Equip. We're looking at the end of this year. As we fastly approach the end of this year, we're talking about reflecting, and we're talking about looking back on the year, the challenges that we may have faced, the victories that we encountered, the problems that shaped our lives as we enter into this new year, 2020. People are already calling it the year of perfect vision. So as we began to reflect and look back at our year, I said something last week, and I said that if we don't learn from the things that we experience or from the mistakes that we have made, then we are prone to repeat those things. So some things that we went through in 2019 were our own fault. Some of the things may have came because of circumstances or other people, and yet we sometimes, if we're not careful, we will go into that experience with the wrong motive and with the wrong idea and come out on the other side in a bad way, or not the way God wants us to come out. So we want to make sure that we don't repeat the things that we experience simply because we don't sometimes understand what we have gone through. Today we want to look at some scriptures that deal with looking back. Let's deal with some scriptures that deal with looking back. In the book of Genesis, the 19th chapter, verse number 17, it tells us that Lot was told not to look back, but Lot looked back. And because Lot looked back, he looked back because he was leaving something that was dear to him. And sometimes looking back is not good. Even in this situation, when Lot looked back, Lot was remembering his past life. Even though he was in the midst of a sin-cursed city, yet there was something about that city that was endearing to him. And I know it wasn't the sin itself, but it was the people that he had grown accustomed to and the people that he loved. But yet, sometimes when we look back in situations like that, it's not good for us. In the book of Numbers, the 11th chapter, verses 1 through verse number 10, it talks about Israel forgot the prejudice that they had experienced while they was living in Egypt. The bad working conditions, they forgot all about that, and that they were slaves. But they only remember the good things. They only remember the food and all the what they call was luxuries while they was living in Egypt. Now they are in the wilderness now, so of course, they don't have as much as they had while they was in Egypt, and so they only remember the good stuff that they was getting in Egypt, but forgot that they had been slaves and they was prejudiced against, and that they was not cared for or loved by the people that was enslaving them. So they were not looking at the past to a reference that God that they now had. They was not looking now as to where they came from and where they are now, but they were only looking at what they had experienced in the past. And also in the book of Judges, the 8th chapter, verse number 34, it says this: that the children of Israel, they remembered not the Lord their God, who had delivered them out of the hands of all their enemies on every side. So it sometimes it's difficult to remember the things of the past and what happened in the past because of our mindsets and the way that we think. Now, part of the problem, understand this, with looking back is that most people have no anchor, they have no hope, and they have no point of reference. And they are usually saying that there was no source of help, or they had no source of help. Because anytime when we have a problem with looking back, we don't see any anchor, we don't see any hope, and we don't have a point of reference when we look back. And so that's why I'm talking to you today, is that there should be a point of reference when you look back. When you look back, what you came through, how you made it through, who brought you through, who was there to help you, who was there to hold your hand, what friend was there, what relative was there, what church member was there, and even God himself was there as a point of reference that you made it through this thing. Now, the positive side of looking back is that you are now open to new possibilities as to where God can begin to manifest himself in your life. So now that you are where you are now and you looking back, you can now begin to see a point of reference, and you can see that God can open up new possibilities for me, that God can do great things and new things for me now in this stage and in this place where I am in my life. So in conclusion, let's just say this, that as we close and come to the end of this year, ask yourself, are you a better person? Or are you a bitter person? Will you be better, or are you bitter about what you went through or what you experienced? Did you learn anything about yourself? Did you learn anything about the people that were in your life in the last year? Did your reflection help you see yourself in a better light? Now that you're towards the end of this year, looking at your life and the things that you went through, did your reflection see you, or did you see yourself in a better light now that this year is almost over? Amen. God bless you. See you next time.
For more information, visit our website at wordoffaithtuscaloosa.com.